Gentlemen, welcome to the 2016 version of Major League Fantasy Baseball tutorial and rules description. For all of you new guys, this is really a video set just for our new owners, the new people that we have brought into the leagues. We do thank you for joining the community and joining the group and everything else. I know the guys are all really excited to get our season started. We will start on track with all of our leagues this year on time. Last year we had a little bit of a struggle. But January 1st, we will get all of the leagues up and running. So the first thing that we need to do, especially for the new owners, is I'm going to do a little walkthrough in regards to how to find stuff on MajorLeagueFantasySports.com, how to find the radio shows, and then transition quickly over to Fantrax so I can kind of give you a quick tutorial on how to find X, Y, and Z. And watching this video will probably be anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But this 20 to 30 minutes that you'll spend watching the video and the tutorial is going to save you a whole bunch of time. So kind of look at it from that perspective. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. And there you go. So first place we're going to start is MajorLeagueFantasySports.com. So when you're over on the website, what we're going to be doing this year, and obviously if you are writers, you'll see over here, you can find all their individual pages listed out here. But in order to find the radio shows, I'm going to clean this up and make it a little bit easier to find. So it's right on the home page here, probably in the next week or so. But in the meantime, you can obviously go to this link here. You'll see the baseball shows. There's going to be a separate link. This year we're doing two shows. We're doing a Sunday night show and we're doing a Thursday night show. So those will all be listed underneath this menu here. And will also be listed underneath the fantasy baseball menu as well. And then also in the sub menu here, it will be listed here. So you shouldn't have too much of a hard time finding it. Now we do our player rankings and everything else. You'll also, find that here, and they'll be broken down by position. Okay, minor leaguers and everything. All that stuff will be right here. Leagues. If you want to check out what some of the other guys are doing in the other leagues, all you got to do is come to the leagues menu. Okay, and you can click on any of these links here, and it'll take you over to the standings page, and you'll be able to review the teams and kind of see how things are going. Also, our champions archive is listed here. Every year I upload all the champions information from each year along with the standings. So we keep our own archive of champions and whatnot. Okay, so you can scroll through this, and I do that for every single league, so that's where you can find that stuff. And remember that the articles, you should already be subscribed as a follower to MajorLeagueFantasySports.com, but if you're not, just go underneath the logo here, close to the top. In this box here, it shows that I'm already a subscriber because I own the website. But here, you can put in your email address and just hit enter, and then you'll receive those articles. We do articles Monday through Saturday. Every day we'll have something coming out for you guys to read and kind of help you along the process of getting used to basically playing in our leagues and give you some good information. Outside of that, the next place I want to point out is our store. Everybody should have the website store address, and it will be located on your homepage. This is League 4 here. You'll see this is the commissioner section. We'll always have our show links will be here. And then you'll also see a link for the store. Okay, you have your trade rules and regulations. Will take you right to the store, and then you have the store link right here, right on the homepage, just underneath the message forum. Once you're in the store, if you want to review the rules, regulations, payout percentages, that type of thing, you just click on this link here. Okay, the trade rules. This is something very, 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 very important for you new guys to get comfortable with and get used to. It's really kind of a simple process, but it can be somewhat confusing at first if you haven't used it. So make sure you read through this and make sure you understand how to use the trading system within our leagues. You have an example of a perfect trade thread just underneath it. So it gives you basically a layout on how this works. I've color-coded some of the information here, and you'll see everything highlighted in purple is basically me guiding you through the process and explaining different things. Okay, so in red is the trade thread owner, and blue are the negotiators, and then anything in purple is going to be me discussing giving you information on how to use the system and just kind of pointing things out to you. Scrolling down from here, your trade arbitration committee information. If something happens and you get a trade vetoed, come through and read these rules. It's not really a long section. It's pretty straightforward. Both the owners need to go to the message board and list a grievance or a complaint as to why you think your trade should be approved. Then we will petition the committee here. That's these 4 gentlemen, including myself, John Zajac, myself, Dennis, and Joe Iannone. If for some reason it's going to be 3 of the 4 will be discussing it. So like if I'm commissioner of League One and the Champions League. So if I make a veto, obviously I won't be participating in this. It'll be Joe Iannone, Dennis St. Pierre, and John Zajac. Joe Iannone is the commissioner of League 4. Very similar situation. If something happens in League 4 and Joe vetoes your deal, then Dennis, myself, and John will review your complaint. We've had 3 over the last, since we installed this 3 years ago, we've had 3 trades make it to arbitration out of all of our leagues, which is a very teeny, minuscule percentage, considering all the trades we have in all of our leagues, and across the board for baseball, basketball, and football. We've had 3 go to arbitration. 2 of them were upheld, and we've only had 1 that was reversed. So keep that in mind. Some more basic information here: trade etiquette and rules, notes on message board agreements. Make sure you understand that. Message board agreements are not binding. Injury rescission after a trade. You're definitely going to want to know this one. Something happens and you get a player injured. Once the trade has been accepted, you have a small window to go ahead and rescind the deal based on that injury. This is a big section that you need to focus on. Trading for next season, building for next year. We don't allow that in football or basketball, but we do allow it in baseball. Make sure you read through this section. This year, we're going to be putting in, when we do our winter meeting, January the 5th, we're going to have a bunch of the guys get together. We're going to do a Google Plus Hangout and discuss some of the rules. And this is one section we're going to do a slight tweak to going into this season. I think what we're going to probably do is put a hard cap on the amount of players and picks that you can actually put into one deal when it's surrounding a trading for next season or building for next year type of a trade. So keep that in mind, but do make sure you understand the situation there. Trade fees, draft pick trading. This is all pretty straightforward stuff, I think. Make sure you read through there and understand that. Violations of the trading system. I mean, essentially, if you violate the system and we find out that you're doing something underhanded, we're going to throw you out. Free agent actions, cost caps, trade caps, all that stuff is going to be here. Okay, your baseball rules are going to be here. Payments and payouts section. Okay, all your due dates. Baseball leagues, the due date is no later than November 1st. So if you join our league this year, and say you just one of the new guys in December, next year, come November 1st, that's when your dues for 2017 will be up. As well as football. Our football money is due on the 1st of March, and basketball, we have set it July. Pay-in options, all that information is going to be listed here. Payouts, any information that you need will be listed here. Let's see, payout percentages. Here's your section for payout percentages for baseball. So if you're playing in leagues 1, 2, and 4, it's slightly different from League 3. But, primarily pretty much everything in the same ballpark. Our Champions League, if you somehow win a title this year and you get invited, the difference is we do a weekly payout with that, and the buy-ins is a little bit more. Okay, it's going down to the bottom. Rosters. This is a section you definitely want to understand in regards to keepers. Okay, here's your keeper information right here. And then illegal rosters. This is a section you definitely need to be comfortable with and understand what constitutes illegal roster under our rules. Your baseball section is here. You want to read this first paragraph and then skip down to your baseball section. Okay, and it tells you, your fines and penalties and that type of thing for not having a legal roster. And, bench spots, pretty straightforward. Off-season free agent. Once you're eliminated from the playoffs, in our leagues, you're shut out from making any more waiver claims, free agent claims, whatever, until the next season after the draft. And then obviously there's just another direct link to your league rules summary, which I'll show you here in a second. But make sure you make note of this. And if you don't have the password for the store, just let me know, and I will either text it to you or email it to you, and just make sure you save it when you log in. But this is where you'll go to review our internal rules and make sure the trading system, I can't emphasize this enough, must understand this trading system. Okay, it's very unique. but works very well, and everybody gets to participate. Next thing, let's go over to the league page. Okay, so this is League 4. Now, navigating this page is pretty straightforward. This box right here won't be there after I pay the $80 fee here within the next couple weeks. I'll pay that, so that won't be there. So what'll be at the top of your page is going to be the messages from the commissioner. Make sure you pay attention to this section. Okay, your live chat's going to be here. If you want to go back and forth and chat with somebody, all that stuff will be right there. Your message form is here. Your article section. This is where this video is actually going to be posted. It's going to be posted right in this section, right in between the links for the shows and then the league links. And obviously here, these are direct links to go right over to the show station. So if you just click on it, it'll take you right over to our Blog Talk Radio station. Okay, and the Sunday show is on Sportspalooza. It's on the Sportspalooza radio network. Okay, so you can find those from there. Our social networking venues, all that. Okay, really basic stuff. Team page. Let's go to who we would check out. Let's check out Lou's team. So here, navigating this is going to be pretty important in understanding how to use these filter systems. If you're looking for pitching, for instance, okay, he's got a whole roster full of pitchers. So if I just want to check my pitchers for the week, how many starts do I have for the upcoming week? All I need to do is click on this little tab here, schedule a week. Okay, and it's going to show you all the games that are scheduled for that specific week. And during the season, of course, we don't have any projected starters yet because we're only in December. But once the season gets rolling, let's say, for instance, Chris Archer starting on Sunday, April the 4th, this will be highlighted in lime green. So every one of the starts you'll get from your starting pitchers will be highlighted in lime green. And all you have to do is just go through and count them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I got 10 starts. So that's simple enough, easy enough. Okay, your minimum and maximum. Don't forget the fact that you have a minimum of 50 innings pitched that you must meet every week and a maximum of 12 starts from your starting pitcher. So you can only make 12 starts, but you still need to meet your minimum, and that's a hard cap. You can't go over 12 for any reason whatsoever. If you don't meet your 50 innings, what will happen is, I'll take you back here. What's going to happen is your ratios, your ERA, your modified WHIP, and your home runs per nine, you'll automatically lose those. So keep that in mind. Make sure you make your 50 innings every single week. Last thing with the filter system here, you see your display. You have standard, tracked, and scored. Scored is the categories that we score in your matchups. So these are your 8 scored hitting categories here. And these are your 8 pitching categories here. Now the tracked statistics, I've added in a bunch of analytics and tools and different things for you to use, and they're right here on your home page, so you can kind of scroll through. There's a bunch of little tools in here for you guys to utilize. Same thing with pitching. Okay, there's a few more stats that I put in there with pitching, but some analytical tools that'll help you make some decisions, hopefully good ones. In regards to the scoring, I'm clicking back on scored. The trick is you have 6 counting stats in hitting and 2 ratios. Pitching, you've got 4 counting stats, and essentially K's minus walk is, I'm just going to count that as a ratio because it goes up and it goes down. It's not just something that you get a home run and it stays. So you've got 4 ratios in pitching and 2 in hitting. So you have 16 total categories. That's 10 counting stats and 6 ratios. So what's going to be very important is while you're chasing those counting stats is that you're making good decisions in regards to your matchups, especially when it comes to pitching. Hitting as well. It's definitely going to help you. And the matchups are usually pretty close. So every decision that you make, certain pitchers you decide to bench for a starter, or certain guys you pick up off the wire and spot start, those decisions are going to play a big role in how well you do in your matchup that week and throughout the whole season. So our league's really not just built on the draft, it's also built on your ability to pick up free agents and make trades, and then also your ability to make matchup decisions and those types of things. So make sure that you understand it's not a set it and forget it type situation. You're going to have to augment your lineup, especially based on your matchup. How is your opponent doing this week? if you've got a couple of risky starts late in the week with your guys that you do own, and your opponent, starts off pretty crappy through the first 3 days, well, then that may change your approach over the weekend. You may decide not to, start those risky starts. You may decide to bench them. So those decisions throughout the whole week are really going to play a big role in how well you do week by week. Draft room. You can already get in the draft room now. Okay. The draft order is already set. This is the official draft order. Now, once everybody selects their keepers, obviously there's not going to be there might be about anywhere from 6 to 8 picks in the keeper rounds, the first 4 rounds, but usually not many more than that. Sometimes a little bit fewer. You can start loading up your queue now. It's real simple. You just click the little green button here, add to queue, and all the players will populate here, and it'll save. So, you can close out of this and open it back up, and all the players will still be there. So normally when I go into a draft, I've got we have 3 months until we draft. I usually have about anywhere from 200 to 250 players loaded into my queue. So if I have a problem, something happens and my power goes out or my computer freezes or some weird thing happens, you have an emergency that you need to attend to, your players are loaded up into your queue, and it will draft them on a legal basis. It'll draft them in the order that you want them. Okay, and you see obviously the draft date for League 4 is here. Standings page. When you go to the standings page, there's a really cool feature under season stats. This is actually the roto. The season stats will keep a running roto standings of the league. So it's just a cool little additive, so you can kind of see how you would do, by and large, how your entire team is doing through the entire season, and kind of see where you would land. Kind of a nice thing to have. Next thing is going to be your players pool. This is where your free agents and your waiver wire claims are going to come in, obviously. When you have the position selected to all, it's only going to show you what the roto score would be based on our scoring system. Do yourself a favor, don't pay any attention to this score because it really doesn't translate well to our very unique scoring model. Try not to pay any attention to that. Your draft percentage and ADP obviously is not going to be there yet. But once you click on individual hitters or pitchers, for instance, if you click on pitchers, okay, you'll see all the stats are going to be broken down for you. The next thing to pay attention to is what's the display. What are you displaying here? Are you displaying all the track stats, which is going to give you all the in-depth stats I was telling you about, or do you want to just look for guys based on our scored categories? You filter the system with scored. I'm just going to show you a couple of other categories, but here's your 8 pitching categories, and you can filter the list this way. The next thing that needs to be really utilized better, I think, by a lot of the owners in the leagues, I don't know how well they're utilizing this, but underneath this filter system, the status team, there's a ton of filters that you could use. Okay, you can filter by all these different team in a league, and then by each Major League Baseball team. So make sure you're utilizing this. If you know you want to pick up a guy from Miami, instead of kicking around and searching for the player, just click on Miami and go to Miami. All the pitchers will be there. Okay. Now, in regards to looking for starting pitchers for the week, I'm going to suggest that obviously you filter for pitchers. You have it on either scored or tracked. And then you click this little tab here, schedule. And it's going to show you the schedule for the coming 7 days. So you'll be able to scroll through the list, and obviously the starting pitchers will be highlighted in green, like I was saying on your team page. It'll be highlighted in a lime green color, and you can find them all. It's the easiest way to find them. There's other ways you can do it, but this is by far the easiest. So make sure you pay attention to that. Using the filter system can really make your life a lot easier, and understanding how to use it. Also, the stats, you can go all the way back to 2007. You can even research playoff numbers. You can do all that stuff from this tab here. And then obviously you can change your filter list here. How many you want to show per page, year to date, by period, by date. Just make sure you get used to using this and understand, the nuances of it, I suppose. Live scoring, this is pretty straightforward. You click on that, it takes you over to the live scoring screen. Your transactions. If you want to see, for some reason, obviously if you go to transactions, you see you can claim drop guys from here. You can do it from your team page too, but You can propose a trade from here. You can upload the trade block nobody uses because of the way we have our trading system set. Nobody uses the trade block. Pending transactions, that's ones that you have set up that haven't been processed. Transaction history and your waiver wire order is here. In your transaction history, if you want to see, for instance, if you want to see, let's filter it. Let's say this was your team and you wanted to filter it and you didn't get the player that you wanted on waivers and you wanted to figure out why, you would simply just uncheck executed only, uncheck it. And obviously here there's no transactions done except for, guys being dropped. It'll show you, as a matter of fact, I can probably pop over to a football league and give you a better example. It's going to show you why your transaction was not approved or what the issue was. Oops. I'll show you here. Transaction history. We'll go over to my team. There we go. All right, so I have it on executed only. Let's go. Let's uncheck that. Okay, you'll see over here on the right, it'll say claim denied, and then it'll tell you why the claim was denied. Okay, so that's all you need to do to figure out why a claim was denied. Uncheck this executed only box. Okay, so let's get back to the baseball league here. The team drop-down menu, you're going to spend a lot of time here. If you want to look at team info is one you want to pay attention to. This will tell you how many claims you have remaining for the week. You can make up to 5 free agent or waiver claims, 5 total for the entire week, how many trades you have left. That'll all be listed here. Your team roster page is pretty straightforward. That's your team page. Roster violations are here. If you want to find somebody's phone number, go to the owner's list. Email addresses and phone numbers will be listed here along with the person's name. Okay, and this is private. Only people in our league can see this page. Let's see, the team finances page, you can actually track how much money is being spent. Okay, total fees accrued is where the prize pool, that's the prize pool that we divvy up, not total paid into, but the total fees accrued. By the end of the year, it's probably going to be pretty close to this number or maybe a little higher. Okay, let's see, keeper admin, you can keep 4 guys. Click on keeper admin. Oops. Click on keeper admin and you check off the players that you want to keep, and then you hit save changes and you see little check marks next to the guys that you're going to hold on to. My team preferences is another section. I think what I've done with a lot of the guys is I've kind of set this up for you. Okay. And matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and make a couple changes for Nick. So how you want this set up, and again, the majority of the people I've already kind of done this with. This section here, you're going to want to have show first unlock lineup period by default. You don't want that checked. You want it showing your current lineup because it can get confusing sometimes if the 1 o'clock game starts and you're just trying to check your lineup for that day and you think you're making a move for that day and you're really doing it for the next day. So I would suggest that you keep this unchecked. Apply lineup changes to future periods by default. Leave that unchecked because you can do it manually through each player that you actually move. Show extra confirm window on lineup changes. You absolutely want that checked. Must be checked. I suggest your default scoring categories you leave on scored. This is for your team roster screen, your team page. On the players page, your free agent pool, you align this however you want it. Live scoring screen, I suggest that you keep the default scoring stat view at scored. And claims and drops, this must be default claims per group must be at 1. You need that at 1, and you need to make sure that you have this extra confirm window on claim drop checked. Now here, your email section, you're going to be able to, anything you want emailed to you, commissioner changes or anything along those lines, you can do all that stuff right here. Okay, whatever you want emailed to you directly. And then once you're finished, you just click the little blue save button and you're all set. Now, the next section we want to look at is we go over to other and click on league rules summary. And these are where some of you can find all the rules outside of the stuff I showed you here. There's some rules here that are just not going to be listed on this page because there's just no settings for them. These rules I was showing you down here are something that we have to track. the illegal roster stuff down here, the roster information here, and then illegal rosters and all that. This information here is not going to be listed here, but all the other stuff will be. So if you need to reference something, you know, this is where you're going to go to take a look at that. You know, your roster restrictions, how many players you can actually own total, how many injured reserve players you can have. Okay, your max players you can own for each position is going to be listed here. Okay, feel free to review all that. Your position eligibility here. I can actually calculate this for us, and I've kind of designed this for our leagues. So in order for a person to qualify for a position during the current season or qualify for next season, that's going to be listed right here. This is the category league. So your scoring categories, use your 16 scoring categories. In the points league, it's a whole nother ball of wax because there's way more things that are scored. It's just the total points at the end of the week. And you play everybody every week as opposed to your category leagues where you have a more traditional schedule. You play one person every week. You get a win for each category that you actually take down. Minimum, maximum requirements. I just showed you that on your team page, but here it is again. 50 innings pitched, max of 12 starts. Your penalties are listed right underneath. Transactions, all that information is going to be here. Okay. Draft information. Tiebreakers. Here's your tiebreakers. Head-to-head record. Most wins entire season, and then best division record would be the third tiebreaker. And then your fees, keeper league information, how many guys you can keep and whatnot. All that stuff's going to be listed here. So if you have any questions in regards to the rules, in regards to scoring categories or roster limits, you know you can go to the other drop-down menu, and you'll see League Rules Summary. You're also going to see My League Preferences. If you click on this, you can actually rearrange the way your home page is structured. Okay, the top two you won't be able to move, but you can actually, like if you want the league article section moved up here, simple enough. You just drag it and drop it. Okay. And you can design that however you want. Just make sure you save your changes. Okay, back to the other menu here. You can also send an email directly from this section. You can also send an email directly from this owner's list as well. You go here, you just click on, if you want to send it to everybody, you click on the box that checks everybody, and then you can send an email from right here as well. But you can also do it from here. Okay, it literally takes you right to the same page. Your head-to-head schedule, you'll be able to find that there. League articles, league polls, chat history, system log, you know, league history, draft picks. There's all kinds of different things. Like the system log, for instance, like if you want to see what has been changed, then all you have to do is come here. You can go right to the system log and you'll see exactly what has been altered by the commissioner. Okay, rule changes, and then you click on actions. Okay. And there's another section here. If you click on all options, there's all kinds of other stuff that you can, you know, stat corrections and overridden stats, overridden positions, there's all kinds of stuff here. You can click through at your leisure and kind of get used to the lay of the land for the lay of the land of the sites and how you actually figure the roster position limits and what position counts against those limits is this bolded position here. Okay, see these aren't bold. So so for instance, he's only got second base is really his only position he's eligible for outside of obviously the infield spot, which is a flex, but that's his primary position, and that's what's going to count against your roster limits. Okay, and we break it down by outfield position. We don't do it by just OF. So you need to be cognizant of that when you're drafting and understanding that this bolded position here is what's going to count against your roster limits. Okay. Outside of that, I think we've done a pretty thorough run through. The last thing I'll show you really quickly is the player cards. When you click on one of the players, it'll take you over to a section where you'll have an overview. There's all kinds of information in here. And again, you can play around with this as needed. Your overview on this here, if you scroll down to the bottom of the overview, it's going to show you the amount of games per position broken down for you. So if you have a player on your roster that is primary second base, but they've moved them to third, this is where you can go and track it to see exactly when he's going to qualify for that position. You know, so once he hits 10 games at third base this year, and let's say he was second base to start out, once he hits 10, then he'll qualify for third, but his primary position is still going to stay the same. He'll still stay at second base. And then if, say, for instance, he hits 20 games, then he'll qualify for third base the following season as well. Your splits, your stats, pretty straightforward. Your splits here gives you a pretty nice basic split set now, breakdown, excuse me. If you want more information than this, fangraphs.com is a great place to go. Fangraphs.com is awesome, and it really breaks things down even further. But again, this is just a nice quick tool. You have your home and away splits versus division, versus the leagues, versus each individual team. And then at the bottom of the page, it's broken down into month, how well they did over the months. So I think we've pretty much covered everything that is really necessary at this point. So what you do need to do for sure is make sure you understand these trading rules. Make sure you understand them very well before we get started. It's December 23rd, so week from this Friday, we're going to get things started, and things are going to really start to move. So make sure you understand how to use those. So there's no issues, there's no holdups, no nothing. Just make sure you follow the rules to the T. If you're communicating, all of that stuff, your trade offers, make sure you're following those rules, and the trade system will work out perfect. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap up the video. Thank you very much, guys, for taking your time to listen and to to kind of learn, so you're basically prepared for the season. You're on the right track. I want to make sure, especially you new guys, want to make sure that you're understand exactly how things work, where to find them, how to do X, Y, and Z, so there's no problems moving forward. If you have any issues, obviously you can just give me a call, or your commissioners. Joanne is commissioner in League 4. Calvin Martin is commissioner in League 3. And League 2, your commissioner is Bilal Chaudhry. I'm the commissioner of League 1 in the Champions League. So just go to the board and find that information. And from there, good luck, boys.